second everything that everyone has said about defending the elections, defending democracy, and counting all the votes. But I think it's very important that we look in the face what democracy we're defending, what election we're defending, and what results we're defending. Because it's a crappy election, and it's a crappy vote, and it's a crappy system. And we cannot simply defend it without criticism. Speakers before me brought up that Joe Biden is on course to have the largest number of votes for president ever. That's 19% of the total population. That's 27% of eligible voters. That is nothing. If this is a real democracy, how are those results acceptable? To have the highest amount of turnout be less than 20% of the people who are legally allowed to vote, which in this country is far from a right.
Yeah!
This election, like Chris said, is down to a hair. And it's down to a hair because of the totally out-of-touch campaign of Joe Biden opposing universal health care in the middle of the largest pandemic we have seen in modern times. You can boo all you want, but I'm honest about what I see, and the rest of you who are booing maybe need to be woken up. When you say Trump is delegitimizing the elections, I say the Electoral College has delegitimized the elections long before Trump came along. Voter suppression, gerrymandering, delegitimized the elections long before Trump came along, and the Democratic Party has played a role in it in the past. So if we look to them to fix the problems, we will end up in the same exact place over and over again. They talk about defending the vote, defending the right to vote. They have sued to remove other parties from the ballot line in other states. They have argued that you should not vote how you want to vote, but vote based on what you fear. That is not defending your right to vote. Capitalism has delegitimized its own democracy. Citizens United has delegitimized democracy. People are talking about Trump's era coming to an end. That's what people said about Bush's era coming to an end. After 8 years of Obama, we get Trump. When people were crying out for help because the banks had robbed them of their homes and their jobs, they bailed out the banks. And we get Trump, and we wonder why. What will we get after 4 years of Biden, 8 years of Biden, if there is no movement built, if there is no Workers' Party built to challenge the elections? What will we get if he bails out Wall Street again? If he builds more cages, if he builds more jails, like he was part of during the Obama administration, we will get something worse than Trump. So yes, defend the vote, defend the elections, but fight for real elections, fight for real democracy, and fight for a party that will actually represent the majority of people that can get more than a third of the voters out to vote for its program.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, we talk about helping the vulnerable here in Worcester when there are 19 people still facing charges after the George Floyd protests months ago. 19 people facing charges in Worcester for participating, being around, some of them just filming a protest. That is an attack. That is an attack on democratic rights. That is an attack on the anti-racist movement, and it is being supported by our city. So, yes, defend the elections, defend the vote, but fight for something better, or we will end up right back here 8 years from now, 4 years from now. If you're interested, we have a table over there, we have a public meeting, we encourage everyone to come and speak at. It's virtual, obviously. But we have the details for that. Thank you all for coming out to this event.